The interrogation room smelled of cheap disinfectant and desperation. Marina Oliveira sat on the cold metal chair, the handcuffs scraping her thin wrists as she watched the lawyer across the table with suspicious eyes. At 18, she had already learned that nothing came for free, especially from men in expensive suits like him. Dr. Rafael Mendez was 32 years old, with jet black hair always perfectly styled, brown eyes that seemed to see right through people, and an impeccable reputation in São Paulo's courts. He was there by chance, filling in for a colleague, and should have been defending a tax evasion case, not a young woman caught red-handed as a drug mule. "You know you're looking at 3 to 5 years, right?" Rafael said, flipping through the file with long fingers. "First documented arrest, but we both know it's not the first time you've done this." Marina didn't answer. Her green eyes, an inheritance from a mother she barely remembered, were fixed on the scratched tabletop. Her brown hair was pulled into a messy ponytail, and there was a bruise on her left arm, courtesy of the officer who had arrested her. "How old were you when your parents died?" Rafael asked, changing tactics. The question caught her off guard. 5, she replied automatically, then immediately regretted speaking. "And how many shelters did you go through?" 7. Her voice was flat, emotionless. She had learned not to feel anything when talking about that. Rafael closed the folder and leaned forward. "Marina, I shouldn't be here. This isn't the kind of case I take. But when I read your file, I saw something. I saw an intelligent girl thrown into a broken system, forced to survive however she could." "How touching," she said sarcastically. "Are you going to cry now? Tell me you believe in me." "No," Rafael replied calmly. "I'm going to make you an offer. One you'll probably think is a scam, but it's real." Marina raised an eyebrow. "I'm listening. I'll negotiate a deal with the prosecutor. Community service, ankle monitor, probation. But there's a condition. You'll work for me." "Work for you?" Marina laughed bitterly. "As your maid?" "No thanks." "As my legal assistant," Rafael corrected. "You'll file documents, do research, answer phones, organize my schedule. Real office work with a real salary. 1,500 reais a month to start, plus transportation and meal vouchers." Marina stared at him, searching for the trick. "Why would you do this?" "Because everyone deserves a second chance," Rafael said simply. "And because my last assistant quit to have a baby, and I desperately need someone who understands basic organization." "And if I say no?" "Then you go into the prison system, get out in 2 or 3 years with good behavior, and go back to the same people who put you here. In 5 years, you'll be dead or locked up again." He paused. "Or you accept my offer, work hard, learn something useful, and maybe, just maybe, build a life worth living." Silence stretched between them. Marina could hear the clock ticking on the wall, counting down the seconds of her decision. She thought of Rodrigo, the dealer who had recruited her when she was 15. Thought of the other girls from the shelter who had gone down the same path. Thought of never belonging anywhere, of having no one. "If I accept," she said slowly, "and you try anything inappropriate." "I'm gay, Marina," Rafael said bluntly. "My husband is a doctor and would be very upset if I caused trouble. This is strictly professional." She blinked, startled by his honesty. "You're married?" 3 years. Ricardo's a cardiologist. Makes the best lasagna in São Paulo and complains that I work too much." Rafael smiled for the first time. "So? Do you accept or not?" Marina looked at her cuffed hands, then back at the man in front of her. Every instinct screamed at her to distrust him, to refuse, to go back to what she knew. But there was something in Rafael's eyes, an honesty she rarely saw. "I accept," she whispered. 2 weeks later, Marina stood in front of an elegant office building on Avenida Paulista, the electronic ankle monitor hidden beneath new jeans Rafael had bought for her. She wore a simple white blouse and clean sneakers, her hair neatly combed. She looked normal, like someone who belonged there. The reception area of Mendez and Associates was decorated in shades of gray and blue, with modern furniture and well-kept plants. A smiling blonde receptionist greeted her. "You must be Marina. Dr. Raphael told me about you. I'm Patricia, but call me Patty." She shook Marina's hand warmly. "Let me show you your workstation." They walked down a hallway with glass walls, where Marina could see lawyers in their offices, some on the phone, others typing furiously. Everything felt so official, so far from the world she had known. Her desk was in a small room next to Raphael's office. It had a computer, a phone, stacks of colorful folders, and a small plant in the corner. "Dr. Raphael asked you to organize these files alphabetically first," Patty explained. "He'll be here in an hour, he's in court this morning. If you need anything, just call me, okay?" When Patty left, Marina slowly sat down in the swivel chair. She touched the keyboard, then the folders. It was real. She was really there. Her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "Heard you turned into a little rich girl now. Traitor. We don't forget, Marina." She recognized the style. Rodrigo's people. Her heart raced as the old fear crawled up her spine. They knew where she was. They were watching. Marina looked around the clean, organized office, then back at the threatening message. She was trapped between two worlds, and neither truly wanted her. But she had made a choice, and now she had to live with it. She deleted the message, turned off her phone, and opened the first folder. The work was tedious but absorbing. Marina discovered she liked the precision of it, the way everything had its place. She was so focused she didn't notice when Raphael arrived. "How's it going?" he asked, leaning against the door. Marina jumped, knocking over some pens. "Sorry. I didn't hear you come in." "Good sign. Means you're focused." He picked up one of the folders she had organized. "Perfect. You learn fast." "It's just the alphabet," Marina muttered, though she felt a small spark of pride. "Tomorrow I'll teach you the filing system. It's more complicated, but I'm sure you'll get it." He paused. "Are you okay? You look a little pale." Marina thought of the message, of the past that wouldn't let her go. "Just getting used to things. It's different." "I imagine it is." Raphael sat on the edge of her desk. "Look, Marina, I know this is strange for you. I know you're waiting for me to reveal some hidden motive, to turn out to be a jerk in disguise. But the truth is simple. I grew up in Capello Redondo. My mother was a housekeeper. My father died when I was 10. I only got out because a teacher believed in me and helped me get a scholarship." Marina looked at him in genuine surprise. "Really? Really? I studied like a maniac, went to a public university, passed the bar exam on my first try. It took me 10 years to build this firm." He gestured around. "Now that I have resources, I try to give back. You're not the first person I've helped, and you won't be the last. And the others you helped, did it work out?" "Some did, some didn't." The alarm rang at 6 in the morning, and Marina woke with her heart racing, expecting to see the gray walls of the shelter. It took a few seconds to remember where she was. Her own apartment, small but clean, with sheets that smelled of fabric softener instead of mold. It had been a month since she started working for Raphael, and the routine was beginning to feel less strange. Waking up early, showering without sharing with 10 other people, putting on clean clothes, taking the subway to Paulista. It was like living someone else's life. She arrived at the office at exactly 8, as always. Patty was already there, greeting her with a smile and an extra coffee. "Morning, beautiful. Here. Cappuccino with cinnamon, just how you like it." Patty handed her the cup. "Dr. Raphael will be in later today. He has a hearing at 9, so you've got the morning free to finish yesterday's report." "Thanks, Patty." Marina accepted the coffee with a small smile. She still wasn't used to kindness with no strings attached. She sat at her desk, now decorated with colorful post-its and a photo Patty had insisted on taking on her first day. In the picture, Marina looked uncomfortable, but there was something in her eyes, a small spark of hope. The report she needed to finish was about a contentious divorce case. Reading about families falling apart felt strange. Marina had never had a family to fall apart. Part of her even envied that kind of pain, because at least it meant there had once been love. She was so absorbed she didn't notice someone stop at her door. "Excuse me." Marina looked up to see a tall, handsome man with light brown hair and kind blue eyes. He wore a doctor's coat under a leather jacket. "Hi, can I help you?" she asked hesitantly. "You must be Marina." He stepped in with a warm smile. "Rafa never stops talking about you. I'm Ricardo, his husband." "Oh." Marina stood up quickly, almost spilling her coffee. "Hi, nice to meet you." Ricardo laughed. "Relax, I don't bite. I brought lunch for my workaholic husband, but he's in court." He lifted an insulated bag. "Homemade meals. Lasagna, house specialty. There's an extra one. Want it?" I can't accept." "Of course you can. I made it knowing you'd be here anyway. Rafa told me you only eat at that self-service downstairs, and that's not real food." Ricardo was already opening the bag. "Come on, take it, or I'll be offended, and then it's drama." Marina accepted the container, feeling the warmth through the plastic. When was the last time someone had cooked for her? She couldn't remember. "Thank you," she said softly. "You're welcome. And hey, if you ever need anything, call me." Ricardo placed a card on her desk. "Rafa told me a bit about your situation. I know starting over isn't easy. But you've got people rooting for you now, okay?" After he left, Marina stared at the lunch for a long moment. Inside her, something began to crack, the wall she'd built around her heart for protection. She blinked quickly, pushing back stubborn tears. Raphael arrived around 2, looking exhausted. He waved at Marina as he went straight to his office. "Tough hearing?" she asked a few minutes later, standing in his doorway with a cup of black coffee, the way he liked it. "The worst." Raphael loosened his tie. "Custody case. The father wants to take the kids from the mother because she started dating another woman. It breaks your heart to see kids caught in the middle." Marina set the coffee down and hesitated. Do you always care this much? About the cases, I mean." Raphael looked at her, surprised. "Always. It's impossible not to care when you're dealing with people's lives." He took a sip. "Why? It's just, where I grew up, no one cared. Social workers just followed protocol. Shelter staff just wanted their paycheck. You're different. Not everyone is like that, Marina. There are a lot of good people in the world, you just didn't have luck finding them earlier." He motioned for her to sit. "Actually, I wanted to talk to you. Your trial month is over, and you did very well." Marina's heart raced. "I thank you. So I'm making it official. You're permanently hired. And your salary goes up to 2,000 reis, starting next month." Her eyes widened. 2,000. You work well, you're punctual, you learn fast. You deserve it. Also, he paused, I've been thinking. How about you take a night course? A technical program in administration would be perfect for you. I didn't finish high school, Marina admitted quietly, ashamed. Then finish it. Night classes, twice a week. I can adjust your hours here. Raphael leaned forward. Marina, you're smart. Very smart. It would be a waste not to develop that. Why are you doing all this? The question slipped out. I'm nobody. Just a girl from trafficking you pulled out of jail. You know what I see when I look at you? Raphael asked gently. I see someone who survived things that would break most people. Someone who had none of life's advantages and is still here, fighting. That's not being nobody, Marina. That's being extraordinary. The tears she'd held back all morning finally fell. She wiped them away quickly, embarrassed. Sorry, I don't usually. It's okay. Crying is human. Raphael slid a box of tissues across the desk. Look, I know this is overwhelming. But you don't have to carry everything alone anymore. Okay. Marina nodded, unable to speak. That night, on the subway ride home, her phone vibrated. A new unknown number. Marina? It's Jessica. From the shelter. Do you remember me? Marina did. Jessica had been her best friend from ages 8 to 12, until she was adopted by a family in Campinas. Jay? How did you get my number? Social media. Friend of a friend. Listen, I heard you're working now, that you got out of that life. Is it true? It is. Lucky you. Jessica's voice sounded bitter. The family that adopted me. Let's just say it wasn't the fairy tale everyone expected. But at least I finished school. Jessica, what happened? Nothing, I didn't survive. Look, I'm in Sao Paulo now. Want to meet? Have coffee like old times. Marina hesitated. Part of her desperately wanted to reconnect with someone who understood where she came from. Another part, the one learning new ways to protect herself, was cautious. Sure. When? Saturday. There's a cafe in Vila Madalena. I'll send you the address. When Marina got home, she found a box at her door. Inside were new clothes, dress pants, blouses, even a simple blazer. And a note from Ricardo. Rafa mentioned you needed work clothes. These were my sister's, but she gained weight after the twins and doesn't use them anymore. Hope they fit. Marina sat on the hallway floor, hugging the clothes to her chest, and for the first time in years, she allowed herself to truly cry, not from pain or fear, but from something she barely recognized: gratitude. Saturday came faster than Marina expected. She stood in front of the cafe in Vila Madalena, fingers nervously twisting the strap of her bag. The place was cozy, full of plants and people laughing, everything her childhood had never been. When Jessica arrived, Marina almost didn't recognize her. Expensive clothes, perfect makeup, confident posture. Wow, you look good, Jessica said, hugging her quickly. So do you, Marina replied, unsure if it was true, or just a performance. They talked about old times, the shelter, the fights, the nights crying under thin blankets. But something felt off. Jessica kept asking questions. Too many. So, this lawyer you work for, Jessica said casually, stirring her coffee. He's rich, right? Comfortable, Marina answered cautiously. And where do you live now? Near Pinheiros. Jessica smiled. Must be nice. You really escaped, huh? Marina felt a chill. Escaped from what and from whom? That night, Marina received another message. Rodrigo wants to talk. You don't ignore people like him. Her hands shook. She knew what this meant. They weren't done with her. On Monday morning, she made a decision. She walked into Raphael's office and closed the door. They found me, she said, voice breaking. The people from before. They're pressuring me. Raphael didn't hesitate. He picked up his phone. I'm calling my contact at the prosecutor's office. And my private security firm. His voice was calm, strategic. From now on, this is not just your problem. It's ours. Marina stared at him. Why won't you just fire me? She whispered. It would be safer. Because we don't abandon people when things get hard, Raphael said firmly. That's bad management and bad character. That night, Marina was relocated temporarily to a safe apartment owned by one of Raphael's clients. Protection was set. Cameras installed. Legal measures initiated. Rodrigo underestimated Rafael Mendez. Big mistake. Pressure built fast. Jessica stopped answering messages. Then Marina discovered the truth. Jessica had been dating one of Rodrigo's men. The meeting wasn't coincidence. It was a setup. Marina felt betrayed, humiliated, furious. I should have known, she cried to Ricardo one evening. People don't change. Ricardo sat beside her on the couch. Some don't. But you did. And that's what scares them. Meanwhile, the case against Rodrigo escalated. Raphael uncovered financial crimes, human trafficking links, and police corruption. Dangerous territory. One night, Marina received a call from an unknown number. You think that lawyer can save you? Rodrigo's voice hissed. You belong to us. She hung up, but fear settled deep. The next morning, Raphael was attacked verbally in court, threats disguised as warnings. For the first time, Marina saw doubt in his eyes. "This is getting bigger than expected," he admitted. Marina clenched her fists. "Then let me testify." Raphael froze. "Absolutely not. I'm not a victim anymore," she said firmly. "I'm an asset. I know things. Names. Routes. Faces. Silence. You taught me to take ownership of my choices," Marina continued. "This is mine." Raphael exhaled slowly. "Then we do this the right way." The courtroom was packed. Media everywhere. Marina walked in wearing a navy blazer, head held high. No ankle monitor anymore. No fear in her eyes. She testified for 3 hours. She spoke of shelters, manipulation, coercion, survival. She named names. She didn't cry. Rodrigo was arrested that same day. Charges stacked high enough to bury him for decades. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. "Do you feel like a hero?" one asked Marina. She paused. "No," she said calmly. "I feel free." That night, Raphael hosted a quiet dinner at home. Ricardo cooked lasagna again. They toasted with cheap wine and expensive peas. "You did it," Ricardo smiled. "No," Marina replied softly. "We did." 2 years later. Marina adjusted her graduation cap, hands trembling, not from fear, but emotion. She had finished high school, then technical school. Now law school entrance exams awaited. Raphael watched from the front row, pride obvious. "She's going to be better than me," he whispered to Ricardo. Marina worked full-time as a junior legal analyst. No longer an assistant, now a professional. She had her own apartment, her own savings, her own future. One evening, she stood on her balcony, city lights stretching endlessly. She thought of the girl she once was, hungry, invisible, scared. That girl didn't disappear. She evolved. Her phone buzzed. A message from Raphael. Reminder. Dinner tomorrow. Don't be late. Family rule. Marina smiled. Family. Not the one she was born into. The one she chose. Life doesn't change because luck suddenly shows up. It changes when someone opens a door, and you choose to walk through it, even scared, even broken. Your past may explain where you came from, but it does not get to decide where you're going. Discipline, opportunity, and the courage to take responsibility for your own future will always beat excuses. That's not romantic, that's real, and it's how things have always worked. This story reminds us that second chances only work when effort meets structure. People can offer help, mentorship, and guidance, but the real transformation happens when you stop seeing yourself as a victim and start acting like the CEO of your own life. No shortcuts, no miracles, just consistency, accountability, and the willingness to grow. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with someone who needs this message today. Your support helps this channel keep delivering powerful stories that inspire change. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one, and drop a comment below telling us what part of the story hit you the hardest.